So this is the year you're finally going to make a budget and stick to it. Or maybe you've been budgeting for a long time and you're just wondering if it's too complicated maybe, or if there are some categories that don't feel right and you just want to take a look at how you're setting up your budget. Well, this video is for you. I'm going to talk about the categories you actually need, how you should label them to really free up some imagination in your finances and some room for growth. These are the categories I've been using for the last several years, although I've been budgeting for decades, and they're categories I wish I had started a lot earlier in my life. I think I would have had a happier relationship with money if I had categorized my spending in this way. Categories are just listed the way they're listed in my budgeting software, and if you want to see my exact budget, I'll link that video. But the first category is investing and saving, and maybe you have heard this before, that you should pay yourself first. It really is true, and ideally you're paying yourself before you even see your paycheck. But if you don't have access to pre-tax investments in your income, or you're self-employed, then you're just going to want to do this as soon as the money hits your bank account. And ideally that is automated, so you don't have to think about it. But either way, whenever your paycheck comes in, put your money into investing and savings. So investing is, longer term for retirement, or maybe for your kids' education, maybe for your own education, where you might be putting your money into, stocks or stock mutual funds where they can just sit and percolate and earn money for you without thinking about. And savings would be more like your emergency savings or your sinking funds, maybe saving for a car or for an engagement ring, whatever long-term goals, and that you'd be putting more in a high yield savings account, or maybe even CDs. So investing and savings, very important category in your budget. You want to take care of your future self and make your dreams come true as well. The next category is giving. So for me, that means giving to my place of worship. It also means some giving that I can just give, when people will give, when people are having fundraisers, or if a friend or family member is in need. That just happened in December with one of my husband's co-workers needed money very quickly, and we were able to help him with that. Also gifts I put in this category: birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, and Christmas you might also want to save for with your sinking funds under savings. But any kind of giving, we have a spontaneous giving category just to help the people in our immediate circle, and then if there's leftover from that spontaneous giving, then we give to a charity that we know very well. All right, so investing and savings, giving. All right, if you're still watching, please do like this video. This video is sponsored by my time and talent. And then the next category I call adulting, or actually my official line item is bills and being an adult. So some people would call this fixed spending, but no spending is actually fixed. You can look at these categories again and again and say, is this really what I have to spend? Now, some are harder to change, like your mortgage, but it can be changed. You could downsize your house, or you can upsize your house, or you can rent, or you can buy. And so it's not really truly fixed. But bills, like all of your utilities, your cell phone, that's a good example of an item that's not really fixed, that you could get, a cheaper phone. You could get a different phone plan for a while if you're trying to get out of debt. This would include groceries. That's really something that there's a lot of flex on, but it is something you have to spend money on every month. So it's part of that being an adult. Insurance would go under this category. If you own a vehicle that uses gas, then you'll need a gas budget category under that, bills and being an adult. Medical expenses, if you know you have prescriptions that you need to fill every month or co-pays, then you should have money in that category under this bills and being an adult section. Anything that you have to pay basically to stay alive and be a responsible person goes under my bills and being an adult category. You can agree or disagree about this next category, whether you consider them part of just being alive and being an adult. But for me, the next category I call as having a content life. So these are things that I could survive and get rid of, but I'd be less happy if I didn't spend money on these things each month. And so under this category is our guilt-free spending. My husband and I each get an amount for guilt-free spending. Some people might call this fun money. We also have a flexible spending amount, and that's for like little things around the house that we need to repair or replace but don't cost a lot of money. We don't have to save up for them. We can cash flow them every month. Online subscriptions go here. For me, all of my subscriptions are just part of living a content life. I don't actually need to subscribe to any of them, to stay alive. And that includes, streaming services, storage on Google, photo storage, any kind of digital subscriptions or payments I'm making go under this to live a content life. Also, the pet category goes under here, and some of you might really push me on this, that you need that just to be healthy and live your adult life, and I'm not going to argue with you, but for me, having a pet is part of having a content life, and hopefully I'll never be in the situation, don't think I will, where I have to give up my pet because of expenses. But inviting a pet into your home is a little bit of a luxury, and I'll just speak for myself here, goes under the category of to live a content life. I also put eating out, and that includes DoorDash, which we don't really use, but I know a lot of people do. So I don't need to do DoorDash, I don't need to eat out, I don't need to go have lattes, well, for me, cappuccinos, to stay alive. So that goes under a content life, but I would be sad if I never ever got to eat out, or if I never got to go out for coffee. So that's under my content life. And then I have a category for my rich life. I only have one item under this right now. It's the things that just make your life feel really luxurious. And for me, that's having my house cleaned once a month. I didn't grow up in a household where anyone came in and cleaned my house. And for me, because I'm physically capable of cleaning my house, and I do technically have enough time in my life to clean my house, I just have someone come in and do, a deeper clean once a month, and then we maintain it. So for me, that's part of having a rich life. Now, for some of you, you might put eating out under a rich life because that feels really luxurious to you. So there's going to be some play between your rich life and your content life, and people will have different ideas of what goes in your rich life and what goes in your content life. But I think it's an important practice to really look at your budget and say, what am I just in the habit of spending, and what could I cut out pretty easily if times were a little tight, which would be the rich life, and what if they were really tight? Then next I would go to my content life categories, reduce those or eliminate those. But also the living adult and bills, I could look at those and see, really, can I bring these down, especially like groceries, for example. And then can I look at my other bills and, put a sweater on and turn down the thermostat, for example, or get used to a little more heat during the summer. It makes it really easy also to calculate, as I prepare for retirement, what we actually need just to live and what expenses might go down or up once we retire in the different categories, and help me keep an eye on lifestyle creep. So anything basically that would be adding to my budget at this point would be lifestyle creep. So this style of budgeting just makes you be honest with yourself about where your money is going. Another important reason to have these categories of investing, giving, my content life, and my rich life all broken out helps with my sense of gratitude, and I think will with yours also, because isn't it great that there's enough money in our paycheck to save, to give, to be happy, to even sometimes feel, oh, that's a luxury, a real luxury for me that I get to do that, even if the dollar amounts are really small. I mean, there was a point when I had $20 in my fund money per month, right? Labeling that and being honest with our language of what that money is and how we're spending it can help instill a sense of gratitude when you're budgeting as well, especially on those months when people feel really pressured, as a lot of people are right now. And even if you don't have a lot of extra money beyond the bills and adulting category, to still have those areas in your budget to look at and to remind you you do plan on getting there, and having a budget and sticking to it will help you do that one day. It's really hard to get there without knowing where your money is going. All right, thanks for watching. I hope that helps, and I'd love to see you in the comments. What do you think about my categories? Are your categories different? Did I miss anything? Is there anything that I mentioned that you didn't have in your budget yet? All right, see you in the comments. Take care.